Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in with us for the Kennesaw State University Open House. Although it's a little bit different than our usual open houses being virtual, very excited to bring with you College of Humanities and Social Sciences. I'm probably going to say CHSS just because it's a little bit of a mouthful there, but I'm joined by some awesome people from the CHSS, both Director of Development for CHSS, Christina Alexis, and then Dr. Justin Pettigrew, who is going to be our representative from the professor department over in communications and public relations is what he specifically teaches. So very cool to have them involved there. And just before I get started, I'm definitely going to shout out for this awesome bag you can win. Anything free is good. I'm definitely tempted to enter in myself for this.
I'm going to. Are you kidding?
I am as well.
So definitely be reaching for it because apparently we're going to be reaching for it too. So definitely fill out that raffle. Be sure to try to win it. There's a bunch of cool stuff in here. Like I said, very much the envy for all of us here on the set as well as everybody here just in general. But thank you all once again. And then for both of our guests, if they wouldn't mind introducing themselves for us in a little bit deeper of a manner.
Sure. Well, good evening almost, everybody. My name is Christina Alexis. I'm the proud Director of Development for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. So a lot of times people think development and they get scared and run the other direction right away. Do not worry. My job is not just to ask folks for money. Our role is really to build capacity for everything that this college wants to do on behalf of its students. To give the students the opportunity to be successful and to have all the tools and resources they need to do so. So thank you for having me, Adam. I'm happy to be here and I hope I can answer all of your questions and get you excited about coming to KSU.
Great. I'm Justin Pettigrew. I'm an associate professor of public relations in the School of Communication and Media in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, if that's not long enough. But I teach primarily public relations classes at the upper division. Just as some background on me, I came to this role, and we'll talk more about faculty background in a little while, but I came to this role with 12 years of practical experience in public relations, most recently as Vice President of Public Relations for Turner Broadcasting. So I come to this role with a lot of practical experience that I certainly try to impart to my students in the classroom. So hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions and to provide a little bit more information from the faculty perspective that will incentivize you to join us here at KSU because we've got a great place to learn.
Awesome. So it's great to have you all here because this is probably the broadest of all our colleges at KSU, giving probably the most opportunities we have, which I think is incredible for students coming in. And I was hoping if both of y'all could kind of touch in on that, on what the College of Humanities and Social Sciences really offers as a whole and kind of the vision and goal for them over at CHSS going forward.
Well, I think I'll take the question first, if that's okay, and Justin will
absolutely.
close it up even better than I could. I think the number one thing I would say about the College of Humanities that's really unique, we had this one line that we put in our marketing material that is sort of stuck in my mind as a differentiator for our students. Our students and our faculty are non-pretentious. And I think that says so much about the atmosphere. There's a free and open opportunity to learn here. There's a limitless amount of socialization with different people because you don't feel that sense that it's either cliquey or that people are closed off to one another. It's very open here. The faculty come from all different walks of life, very diversely talented. I just feel like this is a different type of place than any other university that I've been to. That's the stuff that's sort of, more about our qualities, but the stuff that's more about what we actually do here. I mean, the College of Humanities is the largest College of Humanities and Social Sciences on this side of the region of the country. We have 80 programs, over 80 programs actually in the College of Humanities. We have, just make sure I get it right because it's so impressive, we have 8 different departments, we have 3 different schools, and we have 3 different centers. And it's really important to note that there's almost nothing that you can't specialize in and learn really well at the College of Humanities and be able to interface on an interdisciplinary basis on different colleges and be able to talk to different professors and build your expertise so that when you leave here, you yourself have a diverse array of skills. I think that's a really important differentiator.
That pretty much takes care of it.
Oh.
I think one of the things that Christine and I were talking about before this session was we're sort of the front porch I think, of the university, and that most students that come to KSU will have at least one touch point or class within the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, because where history lives, where English lives, where a lot of those basic program or basic classes live. So we're certainly we're certainly one of the largest college on campus. Yeah,
We are the
we're the largest
Yep.
college on campus. So most students coming to KSU will have some experience with the College of Humanities and Social Sciences during their time here.
No, I think that touches on really good stuff there, especially I was an alumni of KSU myself, and although I wasn't in the CHSS as a major, I think it's nice to have a kind of a platform for every student to come through, kind of that common shared opportunity where, you know, you get to meet people you wouldn't normally meet, just because when you get in your upper level classes, usually you're with similar peers throughout your time. And so the opportunity to meet so many different people and get involved so much, I think, is so unique for CHSS. I think it's just a completely different thing than really anything else. I think they do an outstanding job over there. Y'all have done a great job giving those opportunities to students. But if you wouldn't mind, Christina, just highlighting some things that maybe we're pushing for in the future to get more programs, to get more people involved as well.
Well, I think one of the most interesting things that happened between 2018-19 is that we became an R2 institution, and I know Justin will talk about this more from an academic standpoint, but what that means for a student experience is that there's just so much more of a breadth and depth of connection in your courses to research, and that really prepares you to take your education from being just sort of theory to practical application when you leave college and go out into the real world to perform your role. It means that we can make you more prepared, as they say, future ready. So I think that is a really important differentiator for where we're going, and something to look forward to for undergraduate students to be in a college where there is such a research focus. And shout out to Phaedra Corso and to Evelina Sterling, who are really helping to lead that charge in all of the colleges to make sure that our work is as research informed as it is academic and pedagogical.
If I can add to that, I think sometimes when we start talking about the research aspect of the university, I think it causes a lot of students to either cringe and a lot of parents to go, oh, why should I care? But I really think it's important to note that we are now a Research 2 institution, because what that does is that really helps us provide our graduates with the why behind the what of what they're going to be doing. So I think with the increased focus on research, it really helps us to provide a better underpinning of, okay, this is why I'm going out to do this practice. This is why I'm going out to do this job. These are sort of the underpinnings of sort of what this particular career is all about. So I think to bring it back home to sort of why research matters, I think it really matters a lot in terms of understanding, oh, okay, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Right. And I know we will definitely touch on later the opportunities outside of outside of the classroom, definitely. But as far as I know, we have a new passport program coming up for students to help prepare them. If you wouldn't mind speaking on that and kind of how that's getting students engaged as well towards the end.
We're in the process of piloting a new program called Passport to Success. This will kick off in the spring of this year. We're starting small. But the goal is within 2 to 3 years is to have a blanket program for every student that is a College of Humanities and Social Sciences major to have this Passport to Success program that supports their coursework, that really makes them job ready upon receiving that diploma. Like with this Passport to Success program, with the kinds of things that we're talking about, or when the kinds of things that we're talking about exposing students to, it's an extra advantage to students as they enter the job market, because I think there will not only will there be opportunities within the classroom, but there will be tons of opportunities outside of the classroom for students to be better prepared for jobs that they are walking into. So look for more information on that on the website, and particularly it's like look for more information on that as we continue to roll that out this spring.
I know I'm throwing a lot of questions at y'all for sure, but if y'all wouldn't mind just touching on one more thing just to tie all of that in. I know y'all spoke on different opportunities students had to get engaged, whether it be forensics or otherwise, and they talked about really cool stuff before we got on here, and it makes me super jealous that I didn't go into some of these pathways for sure. But if y'all wouldn't mind speaking on kind of some of those opportunities students get involved with that's just really unavailable in other departments and other colleges here, even at KSU.
Sure. Well, I think one of the things that I find to be very exciting, our dean of our college, Sean Long, who is a visionary, has really said this is going to be the most impactful college in the country for humanities and social sciences by the year 2025. And that declaration is not something that we're making in an empty way. You know, we're walking the walk. I think right now the most interesting thing is to think about how students are being engaged in conversations solving real world, vexing social issues. And we're seeing of this generation that what's important to them is to solve the challenges that are happening throughout the country and throughout the world. And we're engaging in those conversations. And you know, the great example that Sean Long always gives is that you can't solve problems without a social scientist or a humanities professional in the room. There's a different lens that we are able to look at things through because of our training that really offers a humanistic and really well-rounded decision-making at the table. And so students are getting that edge, as Justin said, that they're not going to get at other universities and colleges. With respect to all of the other colleges in our network, we do think that we are differentiated in that way.
Absolutely, and I know you both talked about how strong we are, and certainly it's eye-opening for me to always see. We always seem to have programs and colleges that are always doing well in comparison, not just locally but nationally as well in terms of what we offer. And if y'all wouldn't mind maybe touching on that and what y'all know we've kind of grown into from what people maybe perceive about our CHSS and really the truth about it and how strong it really is in the programs that we offer.
I think I've been at KSU. This is my 6th year at KSU, and one of the things that is really, I guess, has really impressed me about and has made me very proud to be a faculty member at this university is that I don't think we just talk about being a world-class university. We actually are a world-class university. I think, and for some of you parents that might be listening out there, I think there's still this lingering perception of Kennesaw State University as a commuter college, as sort of somewhere my child might go if they don't get a better opportunity somewhere else. But what I think what's really important to understand is we are competing with every other major university in the United States, and our students are getting jobs because of the experiences that they're having at KSU. Before, I will speak Research One institutions, let's say like a Clemson or an Auburn or a University of Georgia, our students are beating those students out for jobs because of the experiences that they get to have at KSU that they don't get to have at these larger state institutions. So I think it's very important to note that it's like we're not a commuter college anymore. We're a player in a much bigger universe right now.
No, I think that's incredible as far as what we offer, and I think the value, the fact that we, as you spoke on, being a world-class institution, that's just, that makes me feel great, of course, being an alumni, but knowing how true that is and how hard everyone works from all sides, staff, faculty, as well as our students. It's always good to hear, but I know we have a video to play for you guys, and then we'll get back and talk a little bit more about our academic experiences and how students can get engaged both inside and outside the classroom. welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us if you've just joined us, but all the same, thank you for staying with us if you have already been started with us here. We were just about to start on kind of our academic support systems we've got in place for our students in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. And it's got some exciting stuff as far as what opportunities students have with our incredible faculty and the incredible programs and just all the stuff they're doing. They're doing too much stuff that I can even fathom, but all the same. Dr. Pettigrew, if you wouldn't mind starting off telling us a little bit about some of our faculty members and kind of their backgrounds and how they add so much value to our programs in College of Humanities and Social Sciences.
A few that come to, I can speak for myself, and I've already said it. Well, let me speak to the faculty overall, and then I'll point out a couple of examples. For me, I come to my position as a professor of public relations with 13 years of practical public relations experience, and I continue to do like minimal consulting on the side. I continue to stay involved with my colleagues who are still in practice. So, because I want to make sure that I'm providing my students with, the most current ways to practice our craft that they possibly, can have. Because, I've been out of industry now for 5 or 6 years, and it's changed vastly because of social media. So I want to make sure that I'm staying up to date so that my students are up to date when they go out and pick up this profession. Another individual that I can name is Alice Gooding, who is is she a professor of forensic science? Is that her title?
Yeah, I think it's forensic science.
And she's actually, if you may have seen her on some of the local affiliates, because she's the person a lot of times that local affiliates will call for a news segment if there's been a body discovered or if there's been a crime committed. Dr. Gooding is sort of a go-to person for local media, and she's doing some fascinating stuff in the area of forensic science. Mm-hmm. We also, most of our journalism professors have had practical journalism experience. So I think the strength of our faculty, I think there are two strengths of our faculty. Number one is the practical experience that we come to KSU with. And number two is, I think, the longevity of relationships that we create with our students. I know for myself and for a lot of my colleagues, it's not unusual for us to, and I still speak to students and talk to students that I had my first year at KSU, and I'm still providing job references for them as they sort of grow along their careers. So I think there's a definite connection that's made. I can only speak for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, but there's a definite connection made between students and faculty that I think is really special here. Mm-hmm. And it's relationships are formed, and I think as a faculty, we're very vested in our students' success. So those are two things that I think are important to mention.
No, I think that helps craft what I think is one of the best college experiences anywhere that we have at Kennesaw State. And I know y'all touched on it. It's just kind of different here at Kennesaw State because we do have that world-class faculty and overall program offerings, but I think it feels a lot more like home, That's the thing at Kennesaw, I think, is the biggest thing for me, biggest selling point for me, period, was it just really feels like home. And I think that the ability to have professors that maintain those relationships, those connections, as well as bringing in that more practical experience, which I think is certainly a calling card for a lot of people at KSU, really helps to bring even more value than just the academic side of things. And I think certainly that's a great point to make in regards to why coming to KSU, even if it's just the faculty and staff. I think that's such a great point to make there, but also that experience they can get is incredible. And I know, Christina, about, especially through our forensics program, some stuff they do, all sorts of cool stuff that you really normally wouldn't think about doing, especially in an academic environment. I never got to do anything like that in the business school. So.
That's for sure. I think that just to emphasize Justin's point, Dr. Pettigrew, I should call you. You worked hard for that title. You know, these professors, they care, and the care goes a little bit deeper. They know what it is to be, you know, put out into the work world and what skills they would want to get. That whole saying of those who can't teach doesn't apply here.
No.
We have faculty who have been tremendously successful and still are in their own right in their careers. Tony Grooms, who is still a very accomplished author, Alice Gooding, Joe Bach, who is running our conflict management school, and that school is #1 in the country for conflict management and peace building, along with Susan Rains, who is a faculty member in his department. These are people who care so much that they're going to stop at nothing to give you all of the skills and experience you need to be successful out there. And more than that, you know, there is a component that I think we often don't speak about. Right now, in the world that we're living in, the social emotional piece of a professor's role is just as pertinent. And I find that our professors spend a lot of time counseling and mentoring students as if they were their own children. And I think that's a comfort to parents to know that they have that kind of, care and support in their school experience, in their college experience.
But it's to build on that. I think it's also, we don't. Maybe this is a bad way to say this, but we don't baby our students
Right.
either.
Yep.
It's like I think part of my job as a professor is to help these students grow into the adults that they will need to be when they enter the workforce. So I think while yes, we provide a lot of support, and part of my job is to help these students to grow intellectually and emotionally, so that when they do hit the real hard world out there, they kind of know what to expect.
That's right. That's right.
I think just to play off of that overall, I think that's something that, especially in College of Humanities and Social Sciences, is so neat that you get, I think, additional support that you wouldn't normally get from professors if you needed help, say, on an assignment or something. It seems like they do a great job of providing that more proactive way of helping students succeed. Maybe not in the traditional sense of tutoring necessarily, although those are available, but also with different opportunities. We have multiple centers through our College of Humanities too, which I think is just giving you more opportunities than you usually would find, I think, to help craft you into the person you're going to be in your career
Right.
field. Could y'all certainly speak on some of those opportunities too?
I will say we have a fantastic writing center, and it's a center that students. I always encourage my students to go because I think the writing center in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences is I would put it up against any other writing center in the country. And I forget who heads it up. I'm sorry. I'll have to look that up and
Let me search my mental Rolodex while you keep
search
talking.
your mental Rolodex while you talk about that.
Yeah.
So our writing center is top notch. One of the things that I think that I also see that we do is for foreign language. We regularly have foreign language roundtables or brown bags where foreign language students can come in and basically have, well, in the age of social distancing, I think it's probably changed a bit. But we have these roundtables where students come in and practice their language skills, with other students and with faculty. And it's interesting with KSU. I don't think I've ever seen the campus quiet. There are things happening on this campus, from 7 o'clock in the morning, through 10 o'clock at night. So it's like the campus is a very vibrant hub of activity. And granted, in our current age, that's changed a little bit, but it's like we're still a very vibrant campus, and it's not like everything shuts down at 5 o'clock and people go home. So I think there's always something happening. There's always something going on for students to get involved with.
Yeah, I think that's great, and certainly a calling card of when I was when I was in school. Now I sound super old, but
You're
just
not as old as we are.
Right. I was
I
thinking
certainly
that.
feel it today, at least. But I think I love the opportunity to see, like you mentioned, there's stuff always going on, and especially like you spoke on having roundtables with language. We often don't necessarily think of the fact that we have students from 90 plus countries
That's right.
here, and have so many different groups engaging on campus, and the opportunity that we provide through that with people who can speak many different languages to get together and get involved, I think is such a great thing and such a strong suit of any institution, but
Yes.
certainly here at KSU to offer that. I think, there's always something going on over there, whether it's be students working on projects or they're in a group doing something like that or with an organization. I think it's one of the one biggest calling cards, things I remember more than anything, going into a history class and seeing that there were two different groups meeting, one before another class and then the other an organization meeting in the other room at 8 a.m. And
Right.
for me, I'm not playing meetings at 8 a.m. But
And Adam, I think another important thing to mention as far as that goes is, like, we have world-class speakers that are here every single week, if right now, if not in person, at least virtually. But we have probably a speaker series within the College of Humanities and Social Sciences that I would say it's amazing to me, some of the people I think that we get to come in and speak, or to do virtual speaker series or those kinds of things. So I think it's important to note that, like, we're constantly bringing in industry experts to talk about sort of what it's like in the real world. And it's like that's also a great opportunity for students to be able to make a contact and to add to their LinkedIn
That's right.
contacts and to say, hey, I remember when you came to speak at KSU. What can you help? What can you tell me about the job market right now?
Endless opportunities for networking.
Yes.
We've had Roy Barnes, who will come back in the political science department, former Governor Roy Barnes, and will lend his guidance and insight and guest teach in the class. We have a German professor from Germany right now who is an expert linguist in his own country and was offered a salary to teach here and returned it. And is teaching of his own volition because he's so passionate about this institution and about being here to teach the students and to bring the knowledge that they deserve and need. So we have a lot of dedicated people who are very talented and who want to just see these students be successful.
And it was a significant loss to us. Rhubarb Jones, who was a local DJ for I'm horrible.
You're asking me to be
I'm
remembered today.
horrible.
This is bad.
I'm horrible with my details today. But anyway, Rhubarb Jones was a very well-known radio host in Atlanta, and he called us up one day in the School of Humanities and Social Sciences and said, hey, I want to come in and teach your students what it's like to work in radio. And for the time that he was here, he was fantastic, and it was a terrible loss when he passed away a couple of years ago, because I think he was yet another example of someone that sort of just called up and said, hey, let me volunteer my experience and help your students succeed.
Mm-hmm. And just as a testament to how special he is, many people throughout Atlanta, industry professionals, they gave funds to be able to create a center in his name. So we do have a radio station and an extension of the Communications and Media School that actually sits here, and I have the placard sitting in my office, and we'll hang it one day soon. And it's really important that those people, to them, that their legacy is left here.
And it sounds a lot like y'all are saying that if students want to get engaged, especially in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, there are always ways to get engaged.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is always awesome, to say the least, to be able to have those opportunities, whether it be speakers. I think that's a great point. And then the fact that we are having professionals in their field that are well known in their field come by and dedicate their time to teach students, to guest speak. I mean, that's a huge deal to be able to have those opportunities for students. And I think that certainly speaking with y'all and learning more about the CHSS, what it's shown, at least to me, is that, I mean, they are always trying to get students engaged and involved, and I think that shows a testament of just how hard our teams work over there in the CHSS to provide those opportunities and give the best experience possible. I mean, it sounds like you'll have something for just about everybody over there.
That is definitely
That's
true.
definitely true.
You know, you talk about the champions who wanted to leave a legacy here for the students, and it was important. Long before, you know, this university ascended to the level it's at now, people like Ruth Ann Harnish, who is a former very, very popular television news anchor in the 80s going into the 90s, I believe, gave a significant amount of funding for the Center for Sustainable Justice, Journalism, rather, to be founded. And her whole vision was give the opportunity for students to have like a sort of teaching hospital experience through this center. And that's what they've been doing. And now it's under the leadership of Gary Green. And this is going to be an opportunity for students to really get bylines and to push out their, you know, their vision and their words long before they even graduate.
Just too much to even fathom for me, at least. Too cool, to say the least, when it comes to College of Humanities and Social Sciences. But I know we got a quick video regarding kind of a student experience at KSU. So we'll be right back after that, just to kind of highlight some more things, some more opportunities for students as they get closer towards their end at time at KSU, and some opportunities that we know students have available once they graduate from KSU.
Kennesaw State University's College of Humanities and Social Sciences offers engaging and innovative academic experiences. But what is life like outside of the classroom? KSU is proud to offer a wide variety of student clubs, dozens of which come from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. From the K-pop club to the Society of Professional Journalists, there's an opportunity for every student to connect with a group that shares their passion. Student organizations offer a way for students to make valuable friendships and professional relationships, explore different fields of study and areas of interest, and seek growth through leadership. One student who took advantage of these opportunities is interactive design student Muhammad Bilal, who served on the executive board of the International Student Association during his time at KSU. Because of his efforts, Muhammad won the Sudden Impact Award on campus, this while also participating as a trip leader in Outdoor Adventures, another student organization, teaching students about rock climbing, kayaking, and more. In addition to living his life inside the nest, Muhammad also branched out by obtaining an internship with Swiss technology company SIDA, and then a position with a marketing agency in Atlanta after graduation. Putting learning into practice is essential, which is why the College of Humanities and Social Sciences offers hands-on experiences, whether that's seeing history leap off the pages in Georgia's first rare book collection at the KSU Sturgis Library, or working in the anthropology lab alongside forensic anthropologists like Dr. Alice Gooding, featured on the right, who also assists the Georgia Bureau of Investigation with her expertise. Applying the skills he's learned, Geographic Information Science student Artis Trice is volunteering to work on a live map of COVID-19 test centers. Last year, Artis became one of only 264 college students to become a Newman Civic Fellow, and he participated in a public health program in the Dominican Republic. Humanities and social science students are encouraged to expand their horizons by traveling overseas. Whether on a faculty-led trip for several weeks or an exchange program for a semester, our students travel all over the globe to gain cultural competencies and international experience. KSU is proud to have a campus in Montepulciano, Italy, and we partner with universities in Africa, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and the Americas. Students can pursue unique opportunities, such as these School of Communication students featured on the right, who traveled to Moscow to report on the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Students can also participate in internships abroad or in their local communities. We've seen our students accepted to internships in a myriad of different workplaces, public and private, including competitive programs such as the Georgia Legislative Internship Program at the Georgia Capitol, or the United Nations Seafall Program in Atlanta, the only UN office on a college campus anywhere in the U.S. Vanessa Godina is an international affairs student in an internship with the United Nations Institute for Training and Research and completed her work at the UN headquarters in Switzerland. With all of the incredible possibilities that come with the Humanities and Social Sciences degree, students often have to find balance between classes, work, family, and friends. In addition to extracurriculars and experiences, college will also help you learn time management and strategies to balance your commitments and your goals. Our programs focus on developing critical skills, such as strong interpersonal communication, cultural competencies, critical thinking, creative problem solving, interdisciplinary research, community engagement, and much more. The College of Humanities and Social Sciences is a place where you can find your wings and thrive both inside the classroom and beyond the campus. Learn more at chss.kennesaw.edu.
Right, and Dr. Pettigrew, I know
I
you
want
had to.
I want to go back real quick and give a shout out to Mary Lou Odom, who is the professor in charge of our writing center. And forgive me for spacing on her name earlier, but she's phenomenal at what she does, and I can't say enough good things about that center.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely. Always good to shout out the incredible people who make this place the experience that it is. So, and I know we got a couple of questions from whether it be Facebook or YouTube, so we wouldn't mind getting started here.
Sure thing. We have a question from YouTube. We're asking, what sort of hands-on experiences are there for the technical communications major?
Well, that's Laura Palmer's area. And what I'm told by Laura and her team is that there is almost no possibility of keeping our students on the shelf. As soon as they graduate, they're going right into jobs and being asked to, take on pretty high-level positions that pay a pretty good marketable rate. It's a specialized degree. It's something that not a lot of universities offer, and they're certainly teaching it in a way that I think that students are coming out with a lot of practical experience from their internships, which they actually place personally in that department. They have a person who's dedicated to that. And their staff is committed to making sure that they're matching and pairing their students with the right corporations to get them big opportunities. So there's a lot of hands-on experience in that role. We hope you come.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Kiani?
Yes. So this one is for Dr. Pettigrew. So communication majors across the spectrum get this stigma of being a fallback major. Can you speak on how challenging the work can be, but also how multifaceted and well prepared those graduates are for the job market?
Well, first of all, I would argue that I think communication is not necessarily a coming from a background in communications, I will say that communications is definitely not a fallback degree. I'm sorry, what was the rest of the question?
I was saying, can you speak on how multifaceted communication majors are and how well prepared they are for the job market?
In terms of we have 4 different majors within the School of Communications. We have a public relations major, we have a journalism major, we have a media studies major, and we have an organizational communications major. One of the things that I can speak to about particularly the public relations major is that every student, actually we're working to get to every student, but that every student has a service learning opportunity before they even leave the classroom. As part of their capstone class, which is where they create a public relations campaign, they're working for an actual client within the community, a nonprofit, usually, or actually mostly nonprofits. So not only do they get to say that there is a certificate, or they get a certificate to say that they've worked on a service learning project, they also get this great portfolio piece that they can use as part of their portfolio or online portfolio, or they can use to show potential employers. I think in terms of the perception of it as a fallback major, I don't want anybody to get the idea that if you can't get into another college and you come to the School of Communication, that you're automatically going to succeed. We're a gated program. We have a minimum GPA. We have a writing exam that students have to excel in order to get accepted to the major to begin with. So, the concept of communications is sort of, I can't get into another college, so I'm just going to go do communications, is one that is a little bit sort of antiquated, and it's definitely not true as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. I know certainly in our admissions department we have people who have graduated from KSU with that communications program as their background. So and they're in admissions, something that you certainly wouldn't necessarily peg people as going into. And I think that's kind of the beauty of the CHSS. I think they oftentimes get put in these kind of boxes in what's available for you. And I think that they've done certainly a great job of really opening so many opportunities for students. And I'm sure y'all can speak on just how flexible things are over there and how it's not just one role you can go into, but a number of roles and a number of opportunities that are available as well.
Yeah, I would say that the focus on, as Justin said earlier, the transdisciplinary hubs, which are, 6 distinct areas. I hope I said that right. Maybe it's 5. 5 or 6 distinct areas where you're learning to intersect your thought process into other disciplines so that you don't come out of, an English degree without experience that could be applicable in any other field. That's why so many of our graduates are able to take, say, a PR degree and parlay it into many different industries or in many different sectors even. I think there's opportunities across, all sort of sectors and businesses for our graduates because they're trained in such a diverse way in terms of the thinking and also the way that the courses are set up and the availability that they have to just sort of take whatever they want and explore. We don't constrain the proportions for our students.
I would totally agree with that.
And just to follow up with that, I know you mentioned career placement and how they had internships. They had someone directly in some programs. They have people that's their job to help place students in their internship roles, or one of their main jobs to help them do that. And I think that's such an important thing for students to get involved with, that they can get that experience in their time at school. Can y'all certainly speak on y'all's career planning and development relationship y'all have over there? I know they have their own open house for tomorrow. Definitely check them out. But if y'all could speak on how they help interact with students over in the CHSS.
I can speak from the School of Humanities. I'm sorry, I can speak from the what am I in? School of Communication and Media. Yep. We have a dedicated professor who's not only, she teaches, but a huge part of her job is to seek out and to help students identify internships that they can do for credit. What we're trying to do, and hopefully this will happen. I think we probably had a little bit of a setback because of COVID. Is we're trying to get more paid internships for our students, because I think that's something that is lacking, and that employers need to realize that when they bring on an intern, they're not necessarily bringing on somebody who's going to, grab the coffee and make the copies, or and send the tweets. It's like, I think they're bringing on an individual who's had enough coursework to understand, to really come in there and do a real job. So one of our big focuses is to increase the number of paid internships that we have. But we encourage all of our students. It's not a requirement of the major, but we encourage all of our students to do an internship. And quite honestly, I think it's one of those things that I will preach internships, until the end of time, because I think it's very, very difficult if you haven't had an internship, particularly in some of our majors, to go out into the world and say, hey, I'm ready to be employed, but I don't have any practical experience. Well, it's like, if you do some internships, and there are plenty of them to be had within our school, it's certainly something that I'm proud of. I'm proud of our internship program, and I think it's certainly a calling card for the school of community, for the whatever I'm in.
No, absolutely, and I think that's one of the great things that really is, I think, important towards being a student-centric institution, which I think we like to pride ourselves on being. The idea that we're not just here to necessarily teach the students, but to help them find success outside of the classroom. And once they graduate, whether that be to go into graduate programs, which we certainly have excellent ones over in CHSS, or if they want to go in the fields directly, I think those options. And again, the idea that there are people, faculty included, who are invested in their job is to help them find success, I think is just incredible. I think that's a great selling point for any student if you're interested. I mean, whether it be communications or whether that be English, history, whatever it may be. I think the idea that we put a lot of effort into doing that is such a strong suit for our program, and especially one as highly rated as ours is. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that we're still that student focused. So I think a really good point there. Nonetheless, but as far as opportunities once students graduate, are y'all finding that students are having a lot of success in that as alumni of KSU, or do you feel they're able to really pursue what they want to, whether that be graduate programs here or elsewhere, or as well as positions in the field that they study?
Go ahead.
The career planning and development team actually just convened with me as one of the co-hosts and actually as one of the hosts, and I didn't have you, I needed you. I was by myself on this particular virtual call. It would have been way more fun with Justin, but they had a group of 6 alums who are just the most impressive people I have ever met. Each one of them, doing amazing work in their own industry, and some of them who have crossed over. So we had a lawyer who was also a well-known blogger and journalist. Somebody who had gone through our JD program, then went off to law school, but also had utilized communication skills that they learned in our communication school, and was able to parlay these 2 things together into a career for herself, and really doing very well. And to see them on this call, which would, I think, fall under sort of the OWL Mentor Network, that type of relationship that all students have available to them with the groups of alumni that we've cultivated to support current students, it was so touching to, we spent too much time. We actually went overtime with the alumni really giving their best advice and their guidance to the students, each one of them doing really well for themselves. One of the gentlemen was sitting in a newsroom at an anchor desk. It was just impressive to see it. So I do think that our students, to answer your question, they leave here and they don't have much trouble going out into the real world.
Well, and my LinkedIn account is, I think, a testament to that in terms of the number of students that, and sometimes I'm even surprised at how quickly students are able to gain employment.
Yes.
After graduation with some, in my world, in some really top-notch public relations agencies, in some government offices that I wouldn't have expected. It's like, wow, what a great surprise. And it's a pleasure to write recommendation letters for those students as well. And it's a pleasure to be on a reference list for some of those students, because it's like, because we have that relationship, and I want to think that the biggest part of my job is not only to teach the curriculum that I teach, but to help these students go out and find a job and be a success in the world. So, a lot of times I'll say it's like my primary role is to help my students succeed in the world, and my secondary role is to teach my course material, and my third role is to do everything else I have to do to keep my job. So,
no, I think that's a great point, and I think that's one of the things that makes it, as an admissions recruiter, being out in that field, it inspires me with a lot of confidence. The idea that not only do we have great faculty, great staff members here that make the experience so great, but the idea that it is proven successful. Just the idea in general, no matter whether it be CHSS or otherwise, the idea that we're not just telling students it's possible, it is. And we've had people get placed, people go into multiple different fields, and like you say, cross over different industries. The idea that students can really fulfill their potential, I think a great point of going to Kennesaw State is really to find and maximize your potential by coming here. And I think we've done a great job of helping students really fulfill that and find that. But just to hear that we are having success, and it's not just something we're making up, that it's very real people out there that you can see that are KSU graduates and attendees, I think is such an incredible point and easy to talk on because it's so incredible.
And on the flip side of that is I have contacts that I've developed at agencies and institutions and organizations around that will email me directly and say, hey, I need an employee. Do you have a student that you would recommend to me or do you have a couple of students that you could shoot my way? So it's like it works that way as well, and it's like that's sort of a testament to sort of where we are as a college as well.
There are some examples here that I just love to share. Thinking about the degrees and how sort of multifaceted each graduate is able to make their degree from College of Humanities. This is interdisciplinary studies. That's sort of an amorphous thing. A lot of people don't often understand what that means. There's a lot of different fields of study in one department is basically what that means. Here are some titles. So Creative Director at Duluth Children's Museum, Vice President of Business Development at Janus International, Victim Advocate at Sexual Assault Center of North Georgia, Instructor of English and Literacy at Cobb County Schools, Director of College Counseling. You can have this all in, all these different people who had the same coursework who came out and did different things with it, and it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think certainly a testament to just how things are working out for our students, as well as just how much effort is being put in on our end, and how student focused we've become. I think it's really an incredible testament to that. But Kiani, do you have any question for us?
Yes, and this will probably be our last question. What are popular organizations and societies our humanities majors get involved in?
If the easiest answer to that, or if one of the interesting, I think one of the really strong points about the College of Humanities and Social Sciences is if you go to the website and if you look at individual schools and colleges, every single school and college has a list of organizations that students can get involved with. And I dare say we probably, in terms of organizations, we probably have more than any other college on in the university. I know one that's very popular with our majors is the Public Relations Student Society of America, because that really sets students up for a membership in the professional organization after they graduate. We have the Society of Professional Journalists. We have I'm trying to think of some other ones. It's like we have several very popular political science groups and clubs and organizations. We have tons of honor societies that students are able to participate in, get a graduation cord, put on their resume. So it's like the opportunities for that kind of stuff are limitless.
Yeah, and then there's opportunities on campus throughout, that our humanities students are attached to too. So it's awesome to think that you can be a humanities student, but you can also participate in CARE, one of the organizations that is able to provide food to students, faculty, or community that need it. There's other organizations on campus like Owl Swap, where students who actually, if they need clothing or if they have a passion for recycling and reusable materials, this is an opportunity to go to Owl Swap and support the cause by helping to give out recycled goods to people so that they're using them, or to use them yourself. And so there's a lot of things that people can get involved in throughout campus, and they do. And I feel like that's what makes our students so well-rounded.
No, I think those are some great points. I hate to say I've got to be the bad guy and end this, as much as we have so much more stuff to talk about, I'm sure. But please check us out on CHSS, College of Humanities and Social Sciences. And please stay for us. Our next segment is going to be the Wellstar College of Health and Human Services. Oh, the one time I messed up. But thank you all so much for attending. And then if y'all don't mind, we're going to do quick allies and then hootie hoo to end it, if that works for y'all.
No problem. Let me see if I can get it right.
Well, oh, wait.
Is this right?
Am I doing it right?
Together,
okay.
yeah.
I got to do it this way.
Together. Okay.
All right, so hootie hoo.
Hootie hoo.